Hello and welcome to another Warno cast. Today on the beautiful map VERTIGO with Autisme on the left side as the first Canadian, and on the right side Nakittaja with the Polish Korpus Desantowy. I hope I pronounced that right. If we look at the deployment starting on the left side, we can see that a lot of units are down on the south, where usually a lot of the action takes place. Although the center is also getting a bit of attention with one helicopter and a few infantry units. So a bit of action in the middle, a very defensive position in the north, and the majority of forces going down south to defend the most common location for action. If we look at the units and the points used, we will see that about a third of his points were used in 2 AA planes, so he has a lot less on the ground than his opponent. I assume it's 2 planes because he expects more helicopters, and maybe if the enemy wants to protect his helicopters with an AA plane, then having 2 AA planes gives you the advantage, obviously. So that might be the idea behind it, but if we look at the deployment of red and see that there aren't that many helicopters and no planes, then it might be, in retrospect, a bit of a waste to use about a third of your points for the 2 AA planes that won't be having that much of an impact in the early game. I would assume maybe they can take down 1 or 2 of the helicopters that are used for the transport, but it seems like a lot of tempo loss and a lot of loss of control, so we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. As for the deployment of the red side, we have a bit less point-wise in the south, but still a lot of forces and more aggressive. Since the Polish are an airborne division, they have a lot more units forward, so they can be more aggressive. He's also with a lot of forces in the center, in the lower zone of the north, and a lot of units, well, a few more here, over here, in the lower north zone, and some more units aggressively in the furthest up north. My prediction is that red plans to be aggressive in the early game because of this division and take a point lead, while blue probably wants to be more defensive if you look at how he deployed in the north, and wants to build up a bit of a blob so that he can push later and make up for the loss in points in the early game. The division isn't exactly that much heavier. In fact, his Leo tanks cost 110 points, so it's more of an infantry-based division, not a heavy tank division that needs to build up for a long time. But I assume that the airborne division is still more aggressive early game, and that the blue side will have the advantage when we get a bit further into the game. So here we go. The planes come in. Let's see if they can take down any of the enemy helicopters. They seem to find the first target. No, doesn't look like it. Damages the first plane, helicopter. There is no reaction of going down with the helicopter, so red seems to be confident that he'll be able to make it through. And over 500 points, get at least 1 kill. But doesn't seem like there will be more, so I assume that it wasn't worth the price. But it obviously gives a bit of safety that in case an helicopter opener or more heavy airplay comes in, that you're protected from it. Then transport goes down on the way out. Not that much of a big effect. The helicopter of blue is about to go down. Personally, I like Vertigo because it has a very clean front line, very obvious even to newer players. I like to get the advantage in points by taking the zones in the north and force my opponent to be the one who has to push and be aggressive. But that also likes to fail if the opponent also sends a bunch of forces or pushes in the south. So we have to see how it plays out. There's a lot of points in the north for red. So technically, blue could push further, but obviously blue doesn't know how much there is for red. He probably hasn't seen everything that was deployed in the north. So we have to wait and see if he... Well, we're seeing it right now. He goes forward to check and to possibly call a bluff on the side of red. A lot of people are starting with scouting helicopters because then you can see this kind of over-investment on one side and punish it even faster. But in this case, he probably noticed that the red side isn't pushing any further, so he knew something has to be going on and is now taking the advantage. ATGM position, very nice over here, so that anything that pushes through the middle of in the south can get under fire. Range is quite far. And now the Grizzlies come in. A recon under fire from the ATGM. There's no further anti-tank weapon here. So these vehicles are now safe and can advance. It caused a little bit of trouble down here. And red is meanwhile not taking any advantage in the north, which is one of the things I'm always afraid of if I don't take the north, that the other side will push and be my backfield and then cut off my supply route and cause a lot of troubles because I have to react and pay more attention to that than I want to. But that isn't the case for red in this match. Normal Utka coming in. More helicopters. But we do have the AA plane over here, so they're a bit of in danger. It's AA helicopter, so technically they can fire back with the Strelot. But I would still see the plane at an advantage if it attacks. Oh, and MiG comes in. It ruins the plan. And that CF is going down. Yeah, so that didn't work out. HE plane is coming in the moment the AA plane of red goes back. Targets just... Zoo. Anti-air gun. I was thinking that it goes in for the CV, but he has no scouting probably of it. So that made no sense in retrospect. Red is not in full control of the center. So the entire southern area is in a little bit of danger while a lot of points are just sitting around in the north. Which is a bit of a problem. Tank is giving support. So now the center is pretty much lost for red. And he has to retake it from blue. Blue sending more infantry to secure the position. Probably walk over here. More Leo tanks, a bit of anti-air. Not really a push to go forward on the south, which surprises me. I expected him to try and get more advantage and pressure this area so that any reinforcement coming in have a bit of a problem. There's also no supply yet for these forces. It's not moving to the right location since these units move down south a bit. But we're having a bit of a passive moment where both sides are just building up and waiting for the right combination, the combined arms to push. Doesn't really look like either side is about to attack. Again, I would like to see red at least send a bit forward to check how much blue has in the north. Because the longer you wait, the more likely it is that maybe an ATGM comes here, or a bit more support, some helicopters, that blue has more planes. I don't think the 1st Canadian has that much. Well, they don't have much helicopters, but I think they have a bunch of planes, so it would be possible for them to build up a bit of an air force. Supply trucks still not with actually damaged vehicles. The Cougar, 50 points, 10 pen. Not bad. For the price point, definitely. Especially since both divisions are rather light. The 10 pen is enough to kill a lot of stuff from the red side. One T-55 is over here. I have 11 frontal armor and a 16 pen gun. And red tries to come over the forest to retake Bravo. The CV is still around here. So blue is still in a very defensive position. I'm waiting for red to come over, and while I say it, he moves forward and tries to go through the forest as well, but in a different location. That's a bit of an interesting situation. It is at the advantage of red, I would say, because his units will be through the forest faster, and blue can't react while his forces are slowed down inside of the forest. So that's a bit of an inconvenient timing for blue. Malika gets a transport. T-55 eats a rocket, but takes no damage. The infantry is still scary. For both sides, actually, I would say. Units in the north still not moving. But a lot of units here in the south now. Towards the forest, but those are the anti-air units, so once the vehicles come out here through the forest, they won't have a nice time. The RPG is obviously very dangerous inside of the forest. And we have an ATGM and Topaz SPG here. With double tank guns. Plane is going down, the MiG. But will the plane go down? Oh, barely not, barely not. I actually expected it to go down. It goes out, but not dying. Vehicles died to the RPG and ATGM. A lot of the units dying now. Infantry was also cleaned up over here. HE bomber gets one infantry squad. Goes out without any damage. Oh, that's pretty nice. This is a little bit of a scout, kinda. Maybe he tries to get some units, some transport that move through here. That will be something to look out for. Oh, CV going down for blue. The helicopter is not much of an issue, I assume. Yeah, pioneers go down. So that's nice for red. First artillery. Let's see, it starts to fire on the infantry division. There's no artillery on the red side yet. Plane against Leo, but not doing much damage. Mostly cohesion damage. And the zone is about to be captured again by red. Is the I did miss apparently that the CV went down. But a new one is coming in now. So he is likely to get the point tick again. Artillery not taking aim. Yeah, it's taking aim now over here. Probably saw the Strela inspired against his planes. A MiG going down. That's a pretty nice catch. T-55 against the Leo. Leo doesn't have any vision, so he has to retreat. But he's going forward in that direction, I think. His back is towards the enemy, and that is... yeah, the smoke then goes forward as well. But he makes it out alive. Artillery is hitting. Strela died. Now the IFV is in danger, but will make it out alive. There's no supply down here in the south, so the Leopard can't get repaired. We have a bit of supply for red over here and over here. The transport for the leader in case it gets into danger or needs to be moved to another location. AT Cu-22 trying to get the Leopard. AA MiG going down, while the HE bomber makes it out alive. Well, the only loss in the recent time was that one plane. Artillery is firing again at the same location. So maybe the GSA infantry scout has some vision, thanks to their GSR, not GSA. It looks like an A to me over here, but it's an R. Never mind. And a bit of an infantry battle over here. Scouts obviously at a disadvantage, but the Cougar and two Leopards move in. I'm not sure if that's a safe location for the Leopards to move into. There could be an ATGM. But Autisme gives it a try to support the scouts. But they go down before he can get into range to fire. Artillery is firing again, this time it's the ATGM, forgot. So I like that the artillery is so active. Especially in such a passive defensive situation. It's nice to pick off such important units, so that when you make your push, you have less troubles to deal with. But there's counter battery, and counter battery hits. But so far only stun and cohesion damage. No real damage. So the M10 or M109 A1 makes it out alive and can continue to fire. It only has 8 shells left, so supplies. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be for the artillery, but eventually he'll need some supplies. AA gun is almost out of ammo. The Leopard still needs repairs. I'm someone who always likes to have his units at full health, so I'm not brave enough to send a Leo with that little health to the front, this close to the enemy, because I would lose him in an instant. So that's not something I would like to do, but I know the better players, the higher level players, they know their limits, they know how much they can risk and how much they can make a unit worse. And since it's only 110 points, he can do more work with it over here probably than if he takes it back to repair and lose a lot of time. But it depends on the situation, I guess. Another supply coming in over here for the artillery, I assume. So currently red is in the lead with the points and the point tick. The tick is about to get stopped if the Cougar lives for long enough to take the zone. There is a CV over here from red, next to the artillery to buff the artillery, which is always good to give it more accuracy and rate of fire. HE plane of blue is going down, but will the AA plane, seed plane, getting the adat, I reckon. Cluster plane makes it out alive. AT plane makes it out alive. Seed plane was destroyed. If we look at the AA network, we have a Skyguard over here, over here, over here. Obviously in the north where almost no action is going on, there's nothing for blue. So it's mostly the Skyguards and AA planes. I don't think there's any infantry AA on the field for blue. One infantry unit in transport over here. That's always scary, because transport can get one shot, and then the infantry unit is instantly dead, so I prefer to get them out of the transport as quickly as possible. Artillery is out of ammo, but the transport is here now. If we look at the AA of red, after this MiG will have its battle. I had a bad turn, so the CF 188 got the first shot, and I will protect the HE bomber. I assume the MiG is going down, but it gets one CF 188. HE bomber gets a supply truck, and oh no, that was a MiG rather. So there's a lot more infantry-based Strela AA on the battlefield for red. One over here. One over here. And we have the Zu-23. That was a T-55 AS with a rocket for the mining clear equipment. Able to show it well in this forest. That's a nice shot. So here we can see the box on the back of the tank that are for the mine clearing equipment, and the rocket that shoots it in a short distance forward, which is very effective against infantry units. And the CV is going down for blue in the south. Artillery is trying to hit the infantry unit over here. Rocket planes coming in, A plane coming in. But the heavy push is obviously over here, where blue has taken the advantage massively. So now he will push for the southern location and get his point leads that way. That's his plan. Still just one Kruger recon holding the complete northern front. It's a bit sad to see, because there are so many units that could be used, and that could cause a bit of problems and stress, but they're completely staying away. And the Leo that was damaged is going down, and the infantry units will probably get both logistic trucks as well, with the metas. And is it out of reach? It is going out of reach. So one supply truck killed. Well, I think this is over here the bigger issue for red at the moment. The AT helicopters are meant to solve this now because of the lack of anti-air units on the ground for our blue in this area. The Skyguard's still staying back. So it's actually pretty effective. And there's no AA to use the helicopters. The guns are taking care of the infantry units with a few rockets. Artillery is firing at the M109A1. It looks a bit closer on target this time, so maybe it's going down. Nope, never mind, it's not going down. The rate of fire and salvo length is just 2. So only 2 chances, 2 shells to kill the unit. Not as with some other artillery pieces where you have like 6 shots. Leo going down, Cougar going down. AA hitting each other. I assume the CF will go down as it goes over the red controlled area, but with 1 HP it goes out. So at least a little bit of luck for blue, who's not really in control in the south, or at least as much as he would like, since he is almost 450 points behind, 440. He's obviously the side that has to push and get some points eventually. There's 18 minutes left. Skyguard tried to move forward but was hit by the ATGMs in the north. And will it get attacked again? No. So now ATGM firing back. But no kill. Counter. Hits and kills. Cluster plane. It brings pain, yes. Sometimes. One Malyutka going down. Su-22 gets out. So there's a bit of a skirmish now going on in the middle, but the main focus remains the south, as usual on Vertigo. The front line, or the line in the back, mostly scouts and AA pieces for blue, while he's pushing in the south. At this very moment, if I look at the forces down here, I would give the advantage to red. Especially with still... well, there's more AA now, but the helicopters still are very scary. So red can clean up quite a few units down here. AA plane comes in to solve that problem. A lot of supply for the artillery. Is it moving through? No. Double supply. Rocket plane SU gets hit by the AA plane, CF-188, which will make it out alive, it seems. Malyutka firing at the Grizzly. I think he has lost vision. Yeah. This scout is very helpful. With this GSR it can probably see a lot of stuff. And it will probably kill this Grizzly. Yep, just as expected, but now it's under fire by the Skyguard, because it's visible after it shoots, or more likely to get seen after it fires. Leopard CV down here. Does he have a second CV in case that one goes down? I don't think so. Which means with 15 minutes left and 440 points to make up, that CV will be very important now. Because it will take a lot of time for another CV to come down here. So that's something we definitely need to look for. While on the red side there is no CV to reclaim this southern zone if the CV of blue can make it in. So that's probably the most important unit on the battlefield right now. Together with the AA to take care of the helicopters. Artillery helping out as well. It aims at the AA. So red obviously knows that. The artillery by blue, I'm not sure if it moved forward, but it seems like it was destroyed with a counter battery, I assume, or a plane. Oh, sorry for missing that. And the ADATS is going down. Personally, I think a salvo of just 2 shots is a little bit little. It happens so often that a shell goes a little bit off target, that not having more shots coming in seems like kind of a problem. Less efficient, less likely to make up for errors. Or bad luck, I guess. So we have a tank battle in the forest, which destroyed the Leopard. Oh, it destroyed the CV. I saw a lot of units dying here, but the CV was the most important one. As I said earlier, and then didn't look at it anymore. Great. Cluster pain. Not dropping the bombs. I assume he lost sight of line of vision. Sight of vision, what's a good term, yeah. AA piece again, hit. So the AA of blue is getting weaker. There's still 2 ADATs here. So it's not completely gone. Skyguard in the background. But it's still something the red seems to be quite aware of. And now blue comes in with the infantry, but it's 2 pioneers that can't damage the armored vehicles. And 60-pan rocket launcher on the mech rifles. Infantry from red coming in to protect us. T-55s. Supply truck is empty, so those 2 over here don't get resupplied. 1 helicopter over here, waiting for its action. Infantry is starting to fight. It doesn't seem like there's much going on anywhere else. Pioneers and other forces down south further in the forest not moving. Red is wisely retreating. But I doubt that T-55 will make it back. Yeah, it's stunned. And 5 more rockets on this mech rifle, so... is it fast enough? It's running for its life. It actually seems to make it out alive. And now the artillery is coming in. That was quite well timed. Guard drone is getting destroyed. And the AA does not hit. So the plane makes it out alive. And now red, who still has a point advantage, can just wait and stay defensively, while blue has to push. The SU is going down. Was a close one. Now the Skyguard is the next target for the artillery. The T-55 did make it out alive. And infantry is now going in to fight in the forest. In the mountain forest, nonetheless. A new artillery from blue, firing towards the ATGM in the zone, in the south. Skyguard getting destroyed by the artillery. AT helicopter doesn't have any rockets left, so just a rotary cannon firing. So far the CV is not here yet. There are double CVs, so this time he's not risking it. But he's unloading in the zone over here. I'm not sure if that is a good idea. At least he doesn't want to walk all the way. With less than 10 minutes left. Helicopter is badly damaged but not destroyed. ATGM was not destroyed by the artillery. Recon is moving forward. Still absolutely no action going on in the north. But the Strelers are out of ammo. Now the helicopter is going down, the first one. The other 2 are pretty low. But the plane is not getting the right angle. Cluster, oh, that's... that could have hit so much better. Like, that was 3 T-55 potentially that could have gone down. Holy moly. Artillery continues to fire a lot of artillery fire from red. With a CV here, with supplies. So he's taking good care of his artillery. The surface-to-air missile also out of ammo on this pretty vehicle. And I heard the flares of something getting marked, but I'm not sure what. I assume it's the next target for the artillery. Oh, it's over here. So the adats got marked as the next target. Oh, the CV is going forward alone. I'm not sure about that one. The other one is just standing in the open field. I'm not sure about that either. Adats getting down to 1 hit point or 2, but not destroyed. So that's a bit unfortunate. The counter battery got a bit of cohesion damage, but not any HP damage. More infantry. 9-man squads. With shock trait. Well, that's probably defensive in the forest. To prevent any push from the south of the forest by Blue, who also has a few apparently defensive units over here. But yeah, I would still say that Red is in a firm position to win this. If Blue can't make the next push worthwhile, there's just not enough time to really continue to fight over the zone. So he needs to get an advantage quickly, needs to push, needs to get the zone. Because when you get into the zone, you obviously also have to keep it and defend it. And you need to have enough time to accumulate the necessary points to take the win. So we are getting into the territory slowly but surely, where Blue just runs out of time. And having your leader in the front of your forces is probably not the way to go. So both leaders going down. Bargot is getting destroyed by the Leopards. Now there's a lot of infantry with RPGs. Can they get in range of the transport? I was scared that the transport would go through this road and then the RPGs destroy the units. Artillery shooting behind the unit, the red infantry. While the money shot by the red artillery, hitting right into this blob of units. And that could end up as a massacre. But red has to retreat. There were too many IFVs giving support, so the red units did take a lot of damage. There is a marker for the artillery, for the counter battery. I'm not sure if that's worth it anymore at this point though. Yes, it was terrible how much damage the artillery did earlier, moments ago. But you need to push as Blue now. And that's the whole problem now for Blue. Blue has 5 minutes left. He has 440 points behind. He needs to get forward. And I don't see that happen. Now he has 4 Leopards C1, 2 more. So 6 in total. A few damaged, 1 healthy IFVs with heavy machine guns. The Voodoo ECM plane gets down. Very unlucky there. As the cluster at least gets the kill on the artillery. But the question is, yes, that's a very good hit, but it comes so late. Like that. If that happened 10-20 minutes earlier, yeah, sure. But right now. But the question is, what else would he attack with a cluster plane right now? There isn't really a big blob, apart from the moving units. So, based on the forces alone, Blue now has an advantage down here in the south. But he needs to get forward, he needs to get the CV into the zone. Do we have a CV? It's all the way over here. Oh, that's so bad. Ah. I think he had a chance earlier. Oh, wow, that's so much destruction now. So much cohesion damage. Like all of these units are now in black cohesion. This Leopard is in red cohesion. The infantry going through forest are in red cohesion. I mean, the cohesion and the HP on the red forces aren't great either. But an equal trade is still in the favor for red, because red has a point lead. So if technically all units would destroy each other, it would still be a win for red. So Blue is now pushing forward with the transport, so he has to take the risk. Doesn't matter if the transport gets destroyed, he needs to get forward quickly. Which technically is the right decision at this point, I would say. But it's just too late. I think if he takes the zone, it's a 2-point zone. I think it was 80 points per minute, if I'm not wrong. 60, yeah, I think it's over. I think even if he takes the zone right now, fully, he still can't make it in 2 minutes with a +4. And the artillery is making sure that he can't advance further. Cluster plane getting the fagot. What we didn't see in this match, which maybe could have helped the blue side in the push, artillery with smokes, so that he can try to sneak in or defend himself from the ATGMs coming in from the center road. CV has to smoke off and go backwards. Like, that's the worst thing you can do at this moment. Obviously he has to, if he loses the CV it's also over. But I mean, we know it's over. So let's enjoy the explosions and the pretty units taking strikes at each other. I personally like the design of the Leopards a lot. It's my favorite unit, my favorite tank. I forgot it's getting destroyed. The side shot. I mean, it doesn't change anything, but it's the painful when your last chance, technically, if you don't look at the clock, the last chance that he had, that it goes down like that. But obviously, way too many units. Not really a chance. So we have a almost even kill-death ratio with 0.99 to 1. And if we look at the kills and losses, the AA plane that was bought at the start did get quite a few units. It did get a MiG AA plane, a Su-22, the 2 transport helicopters and 1 scout infantry. The other AA plane got only a transport helicopter, so that wasn't that good. The HE planes did quite a bit of work, so that was quite nice. Do we have another hero unit? Artillery, getting Estrella, transports, fagot. The T-55 kill, also very nice. The cluster unit got a lot. The Adats got quite a few units. The Leopards were quite effective, at least the earlier ones. And on the red side, Malyutka did play off. The Beretti did get quite a few of kills. AT plane. And that was probably towards the end the helicopters, the ATV-24 helicopters that pretty much defended the south. Like that was probably one of the key points, that when Autisme on the blue side pushed, he had no anti-air units with him, just the AA planes, and that allowed the helicopters to take a lot of free shots and protect the south, so that Autisme couldn't fortify the location. I would like to thank Autisme because he was the one who sent me this replay, and thank you everyone for watching. Have a nice day.